I'm Mike Janson. I'm running for mayor here in New Bedford. I've been a citizen here for over 50 years, and I have concerns about the direction that our city is headed on key issues such as illegal immigration, crime, education, fiscal responsibility, and economic development. We have a serious problem here in the city of New Bedford, something that has been going on for quite a few years, and that is illegal immigration. Undocumented workers taking what I estimate as 3,500 jobs in the greater New Bedford area from the young people of this community. Jobs that are needed to provide the food and the sustenance that these young people need to pay their rents, become productive individuals like their parents and grandparents were. Our current administration has for the past 6 years stood silently by and turned a blind eye to this problem. It's a shame that our president, our governor, and our mayor refuse to enforce the laws of our land on illegal immigration. The 3,500 jobs that we are not receiving in this community are jobs that are being taken by illegals, hired out of temp agencies, so that the greedy employers of our community don't have to pay insurances. And if they get caught with these illegals working on their property and their business, it doesn't fall back on them. It falls back on the temp agencies. So I would be in favor of the Attorney General of our state or the federal government looking into this problem. As you know, we have a president in Washington that has ICE's hands tied, literally has their hands tied from being able to do the enforcement that's needed to rid our community of these illegal aliens. He'd like to make these illegals legal so he can build up his voter base. Nonsense. We have laws of the land that have to be adhered to. Every other person has come here and done the right thing. Every other immigrant that has come to this city has done it by the law of the land. I'm sure it's because of his directive that we have not had any raids in this city in the past 5 years since the Michael Bianco raid. Locally, we can have a city ordinance put in place by the city council to ensure that all our landlords do background checks on anyone that they rent their property to. Any candidate who wants to become the mayor of the city of New Bedford that does not come out swinging on this issue does not deserve to be mayor of New Bedford. Crime is a key issue, and Section 8 mobility certificates is a major problem in this city. It's brought undesirables into our community to set up shop on our streets of selling drugs, prostitution, and gang violence. Once again, we need background checks by our landlords so we know what kind of people are moving into our city. Our New Bedford Police Department needs more funding from the federal government who's created this problem. As your mayor, I will go to Washington to secure the funding that our police department needs so badly. Economic development. We need to expand our airport where we've had a foreign trade zone in place unused for the past 47 years. We need to expand our waterfront so it can become a container port that is much needed on the East Coast. We also need to work with the Longshoremen's Union and try to get back the many boats that we have lost to the port of Bridgeport, Connecticut. These boats were coming here to our community. Now they're going to Bridgeport. The union, the Longshoremen's Union, refused a contract that would have brought many boats into the community to be unloaded, but they wouldn't accept the $2 decrease in pay. This is a union that didn't look at it in the proper perspective. They would have had plenty of work had they not got greedy on this issue. Our natural resources are our harbor. There are many options that can be explored on the waterfront here in New Bedford to bring prosperity back to this community. A deep water container port, casino gambling, a new marina at Palmer's Island. These are some of the options that could be used to help bring our waterfront up to date. And as your mayor, I will look at those options. Fiscal responsibility. The job of a mayor, for the most part, is to spend the taxpayers' money wisely. We do have Prop 2.5. Just because we're allowed to spend that money every year doesn't mean we have to. This past budget that the City Council approved was a $10.8 million increase to the taxpayers of New Bedford. Almost $11 million increase when we had a $3.7 million deficit. But this type of practice has to stop. The Department of Revenue maintains that every city and town in the state of Massachusetts have 10% of its operating budget in reserve. This would mean that the City of New Bedford should have $28 million in reserve. Under this administration, I doubt very much we'll have anywhere near 2% of our operating budget in reserve. This is unacceptable. The past 6 years, we've had a mayor who has ignored the pleas from the City Council and other individuals to be careful how he spends your tax dollar. As your mayor, I'll put a freeze on hiring. And through attrition only, we will bring the numbers of municipal employees back to a level that's affordable to the taxpayers. I also look for options for privatizations to some of our city departments, thus lessening the burden of the taxpayers on our pension funds that are also at a $319 million unfunded deficit as we speak. The people of New Bedford have a choice on Election Day. They can vote for machine politics that'll bring you patronage and cronyism. Or you can vote for me, Mike Janson, who owes no one anything in this community. And when elected, I will not surrender on any issue that I feel is in the best interest of the people of New Bedford. I will not betray the voters, but I will fight for them. My name is E. Michael Janson, and I approve this message.